Wennerstrom, Common Sense Health Expert. Welcome to the Wild and Free Healthy You podcast. Without your health, there isn't much joy in life, so here we talk about all facets of health, including lots of unconventional strategies, tools, and solutions from a holistic point of view. This podcast is all about motivation, inspiration, and expansion of your mind, your body, and your spirit, because your health is your number one asset, and my job is to help you protect it. Now, on to today's episode of the Wild and Free Healthy You podcast. This podcast does not provide medical advice. The purpose is to promote consumer knowledge and information on various health topics. Always seek the advice of your qualified health practitioner. Hey, it's Lindy Wennerstrom, Common Sense Health Expert and host of the Wild and Free Healthy You podcast. And I have a most spectacular, wonderful sister herbalist friend of mine. I just spilled the beans who it is, but Jen Taylor. And she is a friend of the earth, plants, heart for healing. She has a heart for healing, and a clinical herbalist with pharmacy experience, pharmacy knowledge. So she knows a lot about the traditional medicines and also like pharmaceutical medicines, which are totally different. One is man-made, the other is Mother Earth made, Mother Nature made. And so Jen came up with, the other day, she was all excited and said, I came up with, well, actually it was downloaded to her, something, what would it be? Instead of the hydroxychloroquine. Or chloroquine.
It would be a natural formula that would be suitable to what they're putting out for the combination of zinc, azithromycin, and hydroxychloroquine.
So, of course, we're talking about COVID-19 and the coronavirus, there are how many coronaviruses, did you say?
There's 5 or 6 different coronaviruses. There may be even more than that we don't even know, but coronavirus is where the common cold comes from.
And the common cold is a coronavirus, right?
It is a coronavirus.
Yeah. So when they say coronavirus this time, it's kind of it's not really true. I mean, it's.
Yeah. Well, the COVID-19 is new. The COVID-19 is a new strand, but coronavirus is not new.
Right.
So
it includes.
That's where, exactly. Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about you and how you came up with this. You were thinking about malaria and all of that, but tell us a little bit about yourself, and then and how you come up with your formulas, because it's very unique.
Well, when I was looking at this particular one, I went with the fact that they were using a medication. Hydroxychloroquine was originally brought out for malaria. It's now used for lupus and arthritis, severe arthritis. But when it was first made in the chemical form, it was a malaria medication. So I first went with, what herbs would also fight malaria? And then I went with, I made a list of those. And then I went with what herbs, because they're using zithromycin, Zithromax, which is azithromycin, which is your Z-Pack is what it's called. And it's where you would take a pill, 2 pills on the first day, and then 1 pill for the next 4 days. And then it's in your body for 10 days. It can last for 10. So anyway, with the azithromycin, I found that's a bacterial. So azithromycin couldn't be used for a viral or one that's in the air. It would be more for bacterial. So that's what I went with, because they were going, the reason they're going with that one is because they're very focused on washing your hands. Well, why are we washing our hands? What's the whole cure? Of course we want to wash our hands, but why are they making such a big deal about washing their hands?
I just want to interject this, because we did this interview prior And I was like so surprised because I had never known what Jen is just about to explain to us about washing your hands and the time amount.
Right. Well, the reason we want to wash our hands for 20 seconds is because bacterial is fat soluble, which means it's going to cling to the fat on your skin until it can seep into pores and things like that, right? So it's going to sit on there. And if you can wash your hands for 20 seconds, it takes 20 seconds to dissolve that fat to where it just flushes down. It just goes away. So that is why it's important that you wash your hands for 20 seconds. So that would be singing the ABC song, or Happy Birthday Twice, or do Mississippi 1, Mississippi 2, or Alligator 1, Alligator 2. Make sure you do it for a full 20 seconds. And you wash your hands in between and up on the wrists a little bit. And that'll cover any germs that'll be clinging to your skin. That's what we do.
I and all the time that I've been alive, I had never ever heard that, and I was so surprised when I had no idea that they were fat soluble. Maybe that's just common knowledge, but in all my research and everything else, I'd never heard that. So I was fascinated. I still am.
Yeah,
they're fat soluble,
and it takes 20 seconds for the water to dissolve that fat. So that's why we subs it up. And it can be any soap. So I don't want your listeners to think it has to be antibacterial. It doesn't. It can be oatmeal soap. It can be dish soap. It can be any kind of soap. Don't get hung up on what it is. It just, as long as it suds up. So
I love that.
So anyway, I looked at that. So if it was a bacterial antibiotic that they were using, then what herbs do we have that are also antibacterial? And so I looked at that, and I looked at that combination. And then I looked at what we could use for zinc in place of, which I think I answered one of your readers on your
on my newsletter. Yes, very nice.
So I looked at zinc as the third component, and the reason zinc is because it opens up the pathway for the oxychloroquine. You don't so much need it with herbs, but it wouldn't hurt. There's over 300 enzymes in our body that require zinc. So it won't hurt to have a little bit of zinc along with it. But when you're doing it naturally, probably you're getting, what you need through the plants anyway. You don't quite need, when we work with chemicals, it's a little bit different in our body because our bodies have to set up the pathway for the chemical to go and reach that point of action for our bodies to begin to take hold of it. It's a little bit different with herbs. They know where to go. They know what to do. So it's a little bit different. So, but I do. Sorry.
Zinc, and a lot of people are talking about zinc, and so this, you may not know this question, so feel free to say you don't know. But if you have too much zinc, doesn't that replace the displace copper? So don't you have to also take copper? Because
copper helps the body absorb zinc, I believe, and so I think the copper and zinc combination are fine. I mean, if you even want to take a supplement of copper and zinc, I think that would be fine.
Yeah, I don't know what I know you can take too much of something because it depletes the other or something. So I guess maybe that's maybe somebody,
if you take it,
because I don't know.
If you take it in a supplement, all the time copper and zinc are together. And from my knowledge and my experience in it, it's just that it kind of helps the body absorb the zinc.
Okay.
I could be wrong, and so your listeners, feel free to. We'll investigate that further. But I think that's correct.
Yeah, but that's it's good to know, because I think a lot of people, because there is just zinc, a lot of just zinc supplements, which I understand is hard to get right now, and so you answered the question, and go ahead and tell people your little secret of where they can get zinc.
Well, my favorite, now if you like oysters is number one, but coming
Wait.
in at number
Wait, first, see if you were subscribed to the Wild and Free Healthy You newsletter, you'd already know this as of last week.
That's right.
So
that's right.
so you can go to lennymotivates.com. You can go to lennymotivates.com and sign up there for the newsletter. Okay,
Yeah.
so go ahead. So number one is oysters.
Number one is oysters, but coming in at number three is one of my very favorites, which is raw pumpkin seeds. Raw pumpkin seeds, you can get them at natural grocers, Whole Foods, Sprouts, some even grocery stores. I think, some of your chain grocery stores also have them. And just a fourth of a cup gives your body 17.1% of the daily recommended average.
We like that. So, and it tastes good too.
And it tastes good. So you can do, as much as a half a cup a day and get the amount of zinc that your body needs. But even just if you don't really care for pumpkin seeds, I actually work with a person who does not like seeds at all, cannot stomach them. But, if you have a food processor, you can pure that up, put it in a smoothie. You can, check out some other things that you can do on Pinterest with pumpkin seeds, and maybe it might make it a little bit easier to take. But
that's good.
It's kind of good to know that there are food sources out there with zinc.
That's true. What's that clicking? Yeah. There's like a big clicking. Is it on your end? Is it like your pen, or there's something clicking? Like it sounds like that.
Do you hear it now?
No, it sounded like you're clicking your pen or something.
Oh, I don't think I was, but I might have been.
Oh, I just want to make sure that it's, because I didn't know if it was the computer or something we could fix. That's it. Yes.
Okay. I was probably doing it just subconsciously.
So I know I never do anything like that. So what, we're talking about all this natural stuff, and you're like a total natural mama as far as like plants go and everything. It's like, that's your whole thing, even though you work in a pharmacy. Tell me a little bit, or tell the listeners and the viewers on YouTube and stuff, tell them what the side effects of hydroxychloroquine. Am I saying that right again? I don't know why.
Hydroxychloroquine. Well, yeah, I am. There are
it's like
some
quinine or something. Like, hydroxychloroquine or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I think some of possibly headaches, nausea. I think some people have even said vision, hearing, things like that. So I work with a lot of people that get this on a monthly basis for arthritis and lupus symptoms. And they've not had any side effects. So I think, with medicine, and this, that they're not side effects, they are effects.
Yeah.
And right. So I think that, I've heard several stories of people that have gotten headaches or severe stomach diarrhea, vomiting, things like that. But I don't know that would be true for everyone.
But not like here, I've heard one person that we kind of chatted about that was on, he said, that he went to Africa and he had hearing loss, and that shows up on the side effects. And so, and that's kind of a biggie, but maybe that's just like a big dose or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
I said, I deal with people that take this, like I said, on a daily basis every month, and they come in and get their,
and they're good,
and they're good.
So that's a good way to go. But let's talk about then now your formula, which like how you, but again, how you come up. Pen down.
I'll put it down. I'm just sitting here fidgeting on my end.
Step away from the pen. So that's funny, actually. So tell us how you like create your formulas.
Well, what I do is I look to see what, what I can do to comfort the body, and then what healing agents I need to go in and do a specific thing to the body. So in this particular case, I wanted to really target bacteria infections. So that was my main thing. And like how much the body would need of, something to get enough in there, and how the person would take it. So that's another thing too. They could boil it up and make a tea, which to drink a lot of this probably wouldn't taste good. But they could make a tincture, which may be too long. They could get it in powder form, or use a food processor, or even a coffee grinder, and grind it up into powder form and make capsules. So there's many ways to make medicine. It's just a matter of what are you going to have to make? How are you going to make it so that you can take it? I think if it were one of those things where I had that, I'd take it any way I could, but we all know that,
you mean,
of course,
if you got the virus.
A tincture. Yeah, if I had the virus, I would be taking the herbs any way I could.
Right.
Herbs are very gentle, but they are going to heal. Where, medicine would be quicker, a chemical would be quicker, herbs might be slower. So if you don't have it yet, but you want to have this kind of in your, toolkit, first aid kit for if you ever do get a bacterial infection, this would always be good to go ahead and start making those herbs in a tincture form. So that's always something to consider.
Can we talk about, or they can actually order it from you, and we can talk about that at the end. And
we could talk about that. At the
end, but malaria, the hydroxychloroquine, chloroquine is that works for malaria. That was for malaria, right?
It was for malaria.
So which is a parasite. So, but bacteria is a parasite if there's too much of it.
It's a bite from a mosquito. It's a parasite from a bite from a mosquito that gets into your system.
Okay, so the hydrochloroquine or hydroxychloroquine, I've heard it both ways, and I don't know what the chemical thing is between the two, but that will go in and kill like in hours, up to 2 days, very quickly, right?
Very quickly.
And so what you're creating is the same thing, because it's in the blood, right? It's in the blood, the bacterial, correct? Malaria is in the blood.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
Okay, so how does this? So what is the formula? It goes in and attacks it would attack it the same way as the hydroxychloroquine. It
would not open up a pathway and block receptors, and it goes in just a little bit different, I think. With oxychloroquine, remember, it's a chemical, so it's almost going to go in there like an army and just start, attacking these cells that have it. Where I think with herbs, what they do is in a similar form, they would go in and attack the parasite itself. So, and bacteria is a parasite, right? If you look at bacteria in a petri dish, or if you even Google what does bacteria look like, or you can even Google videos of watching bacteria grow, on a sink and stuff. If you, and so it just would literally go in and for lack of a better understanding, almost just dissolve them. That's how I picture it to be, because herbs are just that way. I mean, you don't have to tell an herb what to do. An herb just knows what to do. I mean, everything,
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think about, all the parasites out there and all the diseases and everything that we have in our society, and most of them are parasite based.
Mm-hmm.
When I think of, using wormwood and other things like that are a whole lot stronger, but they are very good at just going in there and, attacking and dissolving that parasite
Mm-hmm.
right away. So,
yeah, that's really cool. I love the way you talk about herbs. So let's share like what it. I was so surprised when you told me the formula. It's like, what? Like
I
so
know.
easy, but
Yeah.
and a lot of the stuff's in your own kitchen right now. So it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. That's the nice thing about it is that a lot of them are. I mean, you would have to buy a couple of them, but there are plenty of, places that sell herbs and
Mm-hmm.
have this. So the first ones that I picked for malaria were the top ones, and they are ginger, garlic, cinnamon, and holy basil.
Ah.
Those are your main, very good malaria type to attack malaria herbs. So those are the herbs best for combating malaria,
And
which is the same, which is what they're using in terms of hydroxychloroquine. It doesn't mean that it is the same as hydroxychloroquine, but they're
right,
using a malaria drug. So if we're
right.
looking at it as, okay, malaria, what are we going to use? And those
Mm-hmm.
would be the ones. So again, ginger, garlic, cinnamon, and holy basil.
And how would you use zinc to open up the pathways as well, or do the plants already the herbs already just handle it?
I would probably just go ahead and use the antibiotic type herbs, or the herbs that have the antibiotic properties in them. And those would be, again, garlic. So garlic is twice, thyme, and oregano.
Oh.
And when you think in your spice rack, you probably have garlic.
Mm-hmm.
You probably have cinnamon, you probably have thyme, and you probably have oregano.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that together is not going to taste great, but
And you smell like a pizza.
and you'd smell like a pizza, but be able to really do some serious damage to this infection, to this disease. So I think that would be good. And then along with that, it wouldn't hurt for you to have raw pumpkin seeds. You could just do that on the side. I don't necessarily think with the herbs you necessarily need the zinc, but if it's the three combination, then adding the pumpkin seeds for zinc would definitely be okay.
So what would the actual formula be? So that if somebody wanted to make it on their own, and how many times a day, like what would be the dosage? And
I would do
I got the sun is coming in. We're in the RV and the sun's coming in. So I've got the shade down, but it's changing here.
I would do 2 parts garlic, 1 part thyme, 2 parts ginger, 1 part cinnamon, 1 part holy basil. And you could even probably bump up 2 parts thyme. I don't think it's important on the parts. You could even do 1-to-1 all the way across, 1 part of each. You could bump it up to 2 parts of each.
Explain what that means for the average person.
A part is any way you want to measure it. So if you want to use a teaspoon, if you want to use a cup, if you want to use a half a cup, whatever your measurement is, you would do 2-to-1. So 2 garlic to 1 thyme, 2 ginger, 1 cinnamon, 1 holy basil. And again, that would be my initial, but honestly, making it all even would be fine too. I mean, the thing about it is herbs, you can't overdo these. These are not ones that you can get too much into your system, and maybe do it a little bit strong on the onset of it, and then be able to pull back on after the day 3 through 5 type thing.
So this is not a preventative. This is if you actually get sick, correct?
Yeah.
Because otherwise
Correct.
you're going to be killing gut bacteria. And should you be taking a probiotic during this time?
Oh, honestly, I would definitely take a probiotic. But you could even do ginger or garlic every day as a preventative. I do
And how
apple
much?
cider vinegar. I do about 4 capsules of garlic, or 3 capsules of garlic twice a day.
Okay. Is that a standard amount in a capsule that you would get at any health food store?
Yeah, well, yes. Capsules are 3 capsules is about a teaspoon. 3 to 4 capsules are about a teaspoon of herb. So
just in case somebody wants to just eat it without, you never know.
You can roast garlic. Roasted garlic is wonderful.
Does it not kill the what is it, ancilla? What's the stuff that's the active constituent in there? Does that kill it or no? Or is it still active?
I think it's active. Yeah, I think with garlic and oregano.
Doesn't matter.
Thyme.
So it's not heat sensitive?
Okay. No, because I boil thyme and do my breathing treatments with thyme.
Oh my gosh.
And
of course. It's like, you're absolutely correct, because in teas and stuff. So I just wanted to make sure that was
right. That's good to know. I think that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing too with pneumonia, a lot of the coronavirus victims had said that they had like pneumonia type symptoms, and the breathing treatments that I highly recommend for pneumonia are sage and thyme, and that's right out of your spice rack.
Yeah.
And you just boil water. And once it's up to a rapid boil, put in a teaspoon of thyme and a teaspoon of sage. Take it off the stove. Take it off the stove. Make a tent with a towel and breathe in that steam through your mouth down into your lungs until the water cools. You can take a break every once in a while. It's hard to do that until the water cools. But thyme is it's antibacterial, antimicrobial, antiviral. It's a very, very good herb. Gets down into the lungs and very, very good. I did have one person who started coming down with a sore throat and was so afraid that they were getting the COVID-19 that they did that breathing treatment, and the next day had no symptoms. So there you go. So the breathing treatments I would do twice a day, unless if you do have the onset or severe symptoms, you can do it as many times a day as you can, up to 4 or 5 times a day.
So how much would they put in would it be a quart of boiling water, and how much of the sage and thyme would they put in there?
Probably about 4 cups of water, 2 to 4 cups of water, and then a teaspoon of each. Okay. So what you want to do is get the water enough in a pan to get a good steam.
So it can be powdered. It can be powdered or loose leaf or anything that they come across, right?
I would use powdered. It's easy. Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably in your spices. Yeah.
Yeah. Because people don't know. They want to know the exact thing. So I want to make sure that they get the exact formula so that they know how to do this. And if they were to make a tincture, then they can go onto YouTube and do that, or they can give you a call. You can create a tincture for them. And
the best thing to do is, I found Everclear at the liquor store the other day. I didn't think any of the liquor stores had Everclear, but you want a real high percentage of alcohol. So Everclear is going to be your best. That's going to be your strongest. I know a lot of herbalists don't like to use Everclear. They like 80% vodka. So whichever you feel safe with is fine. But you want to put your dried herbs into like a mason jar. I use a mason jar with a lid. And once you put your herbs into the jar, you want to cover them with the alcohol about 2 inches over the herb. And then you want to put a tight lid on it. and then every day just shake it. It takes about 4 to 6 weeks to make a tincture if you do it that way.
Yeah,
But you can do fresh. You can do fresh or dried. You can do them that way.
So there's just all kinds of ways to heal on your own, and to take care of this if this is indeed like a malaria type of virus. There's
options. You have options. I would definitely say that this is mainly for a healthy person that does have a really good, strong constitution. Somebody that does a compromised immune system, someone that's on chemotherapy, even someone that might just have a lot of medications that are a lot of blood thinners, anticoagulant, or heart medicine. I would say this probably, I would hesitate for you to do this without your doctor walking alongside of you, just because of your system. But
good advice.
Definitely, it is safe. Garlic pills generally are safe. Garlic is generally safe. So is preventative. Like I said, if you wanted to do those, and maybe a breathing treatment a day with the sage and thyme. Even drink a cup of thyme with a little bit of lemon. That would just strengthen your throat muscles, So those kinds of things aren't going to hurt you, and unless your doctor just says, no, you cannot have garlic.
For the singers out there, and for those that have like, I have laryngitis, what the heck? Well, just do a gargle with thyme, and you're gonna be pretty happy, because that's the bacteria that's causing it is a bacteria that is causing the laryngitis. So you learn all kinds of things with tips and tricks with herbalists. So that's really cool. Let me see if I had any other questions. I was jotting things down. But we're going to have Allison, right? That's what's in garlic, right? I couldn't think of one of the constituents. I was like, what is that? Sometimes I just draw a blank. I need a little more bacopa, please. No. Ginkgo biloba. Okay. So one of the things that we're going to be doing, I hope this has been really helpful for everybody. Was there anything else that you wanted to add, Jen, while we're before we wrap this up?
The only other thing that I would just, again, emphasize is the fact that you do need a good probiotic. Get your gut health strong and healthy, so it can help fight the bacteria before it ever gets to that point. And then the other thing is a good sinus rinse. And we had talked about neti pots.
Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up.
I really like to use a neti pot at least once a day. And myrrh and frankincense are two essential oils that fight bacteria. There are others, but those are two really strong ones. So just even one drop, you don't have to go crazy, one drop of that essential oil in your neti pot, and just flushing that through your sinus cavity.
Frankincense and myrrh. Where have we heard that before?
I know, right?
It's a God thing.
It comes on good authority.
It comes on good authority. I like that. So, smoke just jumped up. My kitty. Did you see him? See her? Did you see her?
I didn't see her.
She just jumped up in the round. So I was like, wow, and I lost my train of thought. Okay, so I'm so glad you remember the neti pot. Real quickly, just so that people know what a neti pot is. It's just a little, you can get it at most any drugstore or pharmacy, and you put some warm water. A lot of people use salt in their water. I use sea salt, and then you just put it in one nostril and it goes out the other, and it sounds gross. You can look at it however you want, but it's super healthy for you to do. And so if you're putting in a drop of, you could even put it in a salt water, right? Put in a drop of myrrh or frankincense.
Yeah, and I would just use filtered water, no tap.
Nice job. Thank you.
You don't want
Yes.
that chlorine.
Yes.
And then
fluoride.
just one drop in the water with the salt. Always remember the salt, but you can leave the salt out. The main thing is just to get your sinuses good and cleansed so you don't have that gunk up in there. I would definitely have your listeners drink a lot of water. I prefer either lemon in my water or apple cider vinegar in my water. I very seldom drink water plain, but water is a good thing to strengthen your body. And then if you do, start getting some body aches, that kind of thing, do not get on any kind of sugar, because sugar just binds and it makes it even harder for you to heal. So I would just eliminate sugar, which is hard for me. So
I think it's hard for everybody. There's so many of us are, I don't know if it's, I got to where it was like no sugar. And then now it's like in moderation. It's just because how much that we consume. And so it's, but if you are sick and I just don't believe that sugar is the villain that it's made out to be. But I think that if you are sick or something, it's how much that you're consuming. And so,
I think because like it's almost in everything.
Fruits
so
right. It's just, exactly. Because it's in a lot of stuff, sugar and salt. So and citrus so it's just fruits. Not eating processed foods is the point. And eating a lot of whole raw foods and getting
citrus fruits are really good for this.
Yeah. So
they boost your vitamin C. So
and antibacterial.
Right. And so I just want to let your readers or your watchers know also too, your audience here, which I'm so glad to be a part of. But most of like garlic pills, ginger capsules, garlic capsules, all those things, just about any drugstore has them in their vitamin section. If you can't get to a Whole Foods, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, of course they would have them, along with probably capsules of Holy Basil and things like that. But don't sweat the big stuff. Just, get something in so that you have options. So when you start, if you want to do some preventative things, great. But if you do start getting some symptoms, you've got something immediately to start attacking it with. So.
Yeah. And this is really good that you're so willing to share. A lot of people won't share their formulas, and this is what I love about you, is that you're just so willing to give and help people to be well, and you're always willing to help people. So, and speaking about you helping people, we are going to have on the Wild and Free Healthy You newsletter, which comes out whenever I get it out. But like probably once a month or once every 2 weeks or something, we'll have Jen. We'll have her be on the Ask the Herbalist corner. And obviously she's not a doctor and can't dispense medical information, but she can dispense herbal information, as you just heard. And she understands the pharmaceutical drugs, the chemicals in the drugs, and how they interact. That's the one thing that I adore about her knowledge. It's just different from a lot of other herbalists and just people in general, because she really understands the chemical makeup of things, of like drugs, and then she also understands the chemical makeup of herbs. So, and she knows how they interact. So it's a very distinctive skill set that she has acquired. So that's something that I hope that you'll take advantage of. So you can ask your questions, just submit them to me at Linny@LinnyMotivates.com, the email, and we'll get your questions to Jen and have her answer those for you.
Yeah.
But is there anything else that we need to, and then also for during this time, one of the things that Jen is offering is to, by donation only, she charges at least $89, I think, or more a session. And so she's going to be doing it for donation only. So, if there's, you need a consult for 15 minutes, 30 minutes or something like that, then just whatever it is that you're able to pay during this time, then if you have the amount, give her the amount. If you don't, then, just give what you have. So, and where can they reach you, Jen?
That would be at TheLittleGreenery.com, or I'm sorry, TheLittleGreenery at gmail.com. So
okay.
That would be Gmail.
Okay. And that's how it's spelled.
The Little Greenery.
Perfect.
It'll be in your newsletter.
Perfect. It'll be in the newsletter. That's right. But if they wanted to now, they could do that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you so incredibly mucho, girly. I love this.
I'm so glad to be here.
This is really helpful, and especially during these times. And it's so nice that you would, it's so cool the way that you started thinking about this formula and how simple it is for people to do it. So
yeah, I think it would really, be helpful. Certainly, like I said, for healthy people, just think of this as a common cold or a virus on steroid, or a pneumonia on steroids. And I'm not a doctor and I'm not a pharmacist. So full disclosure, I am just really an herbalist, and I just really have a heart for helping people. And I just see the real value of these herbs and the combination of these herbs, and just how they can really, really help. So
how strong they are.
Yeah. And just, I know even for a cold coming on, you can do ginger and garlic pretty much really quick, and even just, kind of bring that cold down. So if that is the case, then, doing with the, if you see those symptoms come on as you would a cold, then certainly, have those ready. Just,
you want to get the stuff out, like a cold.
Yeah.
There's a reason you have a cold. You want to get that stuff that needs to come out of your body. So this is one of the beauty of herbs, is that it's gonna work with the body and not just like shut it down, because the body needs to continue to work and to expel the exogen. What are the exogens? Exogen, something like that. Whatever the real what a virus really is. I'm just learning about a lot of this stuff too. And but I mean, that's just common sense. And I'm not the common sense health expert for nothing. You gotta there's a reason. There's a reason you gotta let these things get out of your body. So
just a lot of options for you to take control and not lose sight of the fact that we have the power. And I think now more than ever in our society, natural medicine is going to start coming to the forefront. I think we've kind of learned our lesson about things being overseas and how much control we have given away to other countries and even government facilities and things like that. So I think more now than ever, just to have some knowledge of natural healing and things that you can do to help your body. And my rule of thumb is, if you can't see results within 2 or 3 days, get to a doctor. But if you wanted to try something, or even head toward a doctor if you think you have something serious, but at least have something, be able to take something as natural as garlic is not going to interfere with any medication.
Thank you so incredibly mucho, girly, and
love being here.
We will chat with you again and see you in the newsletter. So this is Lenny Wennerstrom, and thank you for watching the Wild and Free Healthy You podcast. And we'll be back with another episode soon. And we'll see everybody later. See ya. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Wild and Free Healthy You podcast. I appreciate you so incredibly mucho. Make sure you always take care of you first, because your health is your #1 asset. To listen to more podcasts, check out LennyMotivates.com and follow me on Instagram @LennyMotivates. Don't forget to share them with your family and friends. Remember to always be your biggest fan and your biggest cheerleader, because no one can love you more than you can. Take care of you. Ciao.